Well, here we are. This is the whole poem now, The Bride Chest by Elynyd Lewis. So I'm not saying you have to hang the poem onto a story, but it might help you to understand what's going on here if we try and hang it on some sort of story. So there's a girl who we then discover is a bride. She is kneeling in front of a bride chest. Again, that might echo kneeling at the altar of the church when she gets married, for example. It might be kneeling in grief, maybe almost kneeling at a grave, perhaps. She's putting things back into her bride chest. There's a reference of the coming of fears, which may be a reference to the war when lots of people died. So it could be that her husband or potential husband, he might have been a fiancé, has been killed. Although it does say bride, so that would imply husband has been killed, but she's only young. Then you've also got there's quite negative imagery. You've got the light falling on her in the first verse. You've got the frosts of May have destroyed the trees. Will they flower again? You've got blackbirds chuckling, almost mocking in a sinister way. You've got the pale lilac. All these things add up to quite a almost creepy sort of negative poem. It's very sad, I feel, and it talks a lot about people dying. Dust are the hands that wove, dust the lovers. Unfortunate lovers who lived before. So it's almost like she's cursing those people who were lucky enough to live before and not have to go through the war. People who didn't lose their partner in the war. There may be a sense of that in the poem too. So, like the poem My Box, this poem is divided into 3 verses or stanzas. There is a stronger rhyme scheme here. You've got room, stair, girl, hair, forgotten begins, muffled wins. And then in the second verse, you've got thread and bed, fears and tears, rain again, glide and bride. So it's a slightly more structured rhyme scheme than the poem My Box, which had some rhyme and some half rhyme. I'm not sure if there's any sort of symbolism to this structure, this very sort of regular structure. I think the rhythm of the lines is quite similar as well in each verse. So you've got the bride chest stands in the room, the little room, up the winding stair. Second verse, old and cool is the linen she sorts and smooths and find the thread. Third verse, below on river and garden, whispering falls the summer rain. So it's quite similar. It's very regulated. If anyone can come up with an idea of the significance of that very strict structure with reference to the actual content of the poem, that would be very interesting. Is there anything else we need to say about this? I'm not sure. Just think about, try to hang it on some sort of story. It will help you make more sense of it, I think, this poem. And the more you look at it, the more it seems to hang together. And you get a sense of this bride in this attic, keeping away from people. Perhaps it's the day of the funeral. She's hiding away from everybody to have some peace and put away her memories and her happiness into the bride chest.